Okay, it is March the 12th, Sunday evening, about 30 minutes after the weekly close. Let's go ahead and do the market outlook and plans for the week ahead. So first off, to go over is we do have a major news event this week, which is good. We have CPI on Tuesday. So basically, my thesis is probably going to be bidding the dip on Tuesday. But yeah, let's go ahead and move over from that and cover benchmarks lightly. So let's talk about the S&P. So the S&P, I'm basically pretty bearish on right now. We're fighting, clearly bulls are fighting for this level, and I'm thinking that we're probably going to get like a dead cat on this, which is kind of lining up with what's happening in crypto. Crypto's definitely catching a bid right now. So overall, I definitely am going to continue to probably lean higher time frame bearish on the S&P with the expectation that we could get a reasonable bounce up another, 80, 90, 100 points, whatever, into yearly VWAP region with supply overlap and then probably trading back down to the 35s. There's always a possibility, I wanted to include this in the rundown tonight, that we basically could have just seen a gross overreaction to all the systemic risk that we just went through. There's always the possibility that things like the S&P and Bitcoin sold off harder than they really needed to as a reaction to how bearish things could have been. So we should keep that in the back of our mind, because I am more bearish definitely on the benchmarks on Bitcoin and the S&P, but I am going to keep it in the back of my mind that we're really not that far away from a couple of reclaims on both of these benchmarks before we got to be bullish again. So I'm bearish / neutral going into this week. So to clear up things for the S&P, we're trading into that major zone that I wanted to hold, and it's as resistance now because we broke down and we're trading into it. So bulls have absolutely got to have a strong start to the week here, and really test through this 3,900 region and go fight for that yearly closer to 4K. Okay, let's go over to Bitcoin. So definitely a lot to cover on Bitcoin here. Let's start on higher time frame with the VWAPs. So most importantly, we got massive response from this HVN that we had talked about. This wasn't the most ideal, bid location. I still kind of think that we should trade down lower, but at the end of the day, I'm not Nostradamus out here. I'm not going to try to pretend that I can predict what's going to happen. So just some loose analysis on higher time frame, right? We have now successfully started to trade back above the yearly again, which was the key thing that we were looking for. So now we're basically going to be looking to see, is the yearly going to hold the support? Is this low volume going to hold the support? If so, we are trading up. So basically, Bitcoin is now in bull mode as long as we're above that. If we lose these two kind of regions that we're talking about here, though, we're probably trading back down to the 19K region. So we're in a bit of a tricky spot here, just because, there's always the possibility that this sell-off that we just experienced was an overreaction, which is the thing that I'm keeping in the back of my head. Because from a technical standpoint, following my system, we should continue to trade down. But this is quite the bullish engulfing response that we've seen here on Sunday. Now, it's your classic Sunday a liquid move, so it doesn't always have that much, legitimacy behind it. However, clearly the spot bid that's coming in through Coinbase is very strong. They're not fucking around over there. So somebody is buying on Coinbase and they're not fucking about. So, just to briefly cover the narrative that we're going to see probably emerging, right? When you see legacy banking institutions, very large ones, fail, crypto people will say that is, a narrative as to why people should want to buy crypto, right? I refuse to pre-position on those kind of narratives and stuff, but I do think that can emerge. So if this bullish momentum sustains and we continue to hold above this area that we're we're trading into very significant resistance right now, guys. So if we can basically hold above, call it 22.4 or whatever, basically where we're at now, it needs to start to build a base above where we're at now. And, after that, there's absolutely no reason to be bearish. But I really had that gut feeling that we're going to get bonked here. So with the CPI coming in, I hate looking at the Coinbase chart because the premium is so fucked that the pricing is all out of whack. But basically, going into this week, it's hard for me to say exactly where my bid zone is going to be, but I'm almost certainly going to be trying to play this play all over again. So whoever remembers this was the last CPI that we had. Built a nice comp. I had heavy bids into the lows of the comp, and I just got wicked into and filled. Execution-wise, it wasn't my best trade, but the thesis was phenomenal. So I'm hoping to run it back turbo with something like this week. So let's see if hopefully we can get a little sideways price action Monday, and then Tuesday buying the dip. Exactly where that dip buying will be, I can't really say. Because on Sunday night, things look pretty differently than they will on, Tuesday morning when I'm actually trying to buy. So just quickly off the top of my head, I'll be using VWAPs and then major macro composites and stuff. So if this is what price looked like going into CPI, I'd probably be trying to bid like 22K basically, layering 22K all the way down to 21 or something like that. But yeah, that's going to be one of the core plays. So basically the core plays going into this week for me are going to be first and foremost, going to be intraday. Continuing to lean more and more into my intraday trading. Next is going to be the CPI day. So probably going to be just basically trying to catch the whipsaw and bid the shit out of that. And it's not like something I'm going to be holding forever, right? Maybe a couple of days after and we're out. And then the last thing is potentially swing shorts, right? So I want to see how the rest of this week, kind of starts to develop. If we seem like the bullish momentum is going to maintain, then I'll go ahead and override this. But if I see some signs of exhaustion and stuff, this is very, very clean, very clean swing short territory that we're trading up into. I think that TLDR of everything on Bitcoin is that, I'm going to continue to lean heavily into intraday trading. I'm going to try to slurp up longs on CPI, and later in the week, we might be setting up for swing shorts. That's the TLDR of everything. I think just blindly shorting into this, even though it's a reasonable area, I think that you're probably going to get squeezed out. So I want to wait and see. Yeah, so it really makes sense to me, just my gut, right, that we get a nice whipsaw off the CPI. We continue to trade up following that. We lose momentum later in the week, and we set up for massive swing shorts. I mean, if that plays out, then I'm basically Nostradamus, and I'm going to be big vibing. So I'm going to go ahead and digress from all that. For more information, check out the Paragon group with the link below, where I cover everything from how I trade to how you can develop your own style. Let's lightly touch on altcoins. I don't want to ramble about this too much. Altcoins have had some absolutely wild moves. I wanted to point out SNX really quickly as just a good example. So SNX nuked all the way down to its yearly bands off of this, it was one of the strong coins that was trading consistently pretty strongly. And then off of this, event that we just went through, it nuked all the way down to its yearly bands. And it just had a 40% reclaim all the way back to yearly bands. So basically every altcoin that I was looking at earlier, I don't know why, I just didn't even know you could lock crosshairs. Why would anyone want to do that? Basically, every altcoin that I'm looking at is doing this. One of two things. They are either, this is your yearly bands, and this is price. Let's change the color on price. They are either trading from their yearly bands into their yearly VWAP or into their yearly bands. This is what basically every altcoin is doing right now. They're either looking to reject off the yearly, or they're looking to reject off the yearly bands. The strongest altcoins traded up into the bands. A lot of them just traded up into the yearly. So I don't really have too much of an interest in trying to trade beta this week. The only day that I'm going to be trying to trade beta at all will probably be Tuesday. And basically Monday night, scroll through, look what's strong, and then throw that on my watch list and potentially bid it alongside Bitcoin and ETH. For kind of pseudo intraday plays. But higher time frame altcoins, very much like Bitcoin, could be setting up for swing shorts. So something like SNX, I don't really like shorting things that are absolutely pumping, right? Something that just went up 40% in less than 24 hours. I don't want to just be ape shorting necessarily. But this could end up being a very clean short setup if it just starts to round out a little bit. I don't just short into up candles, but I need some sort of momentum loss structure. Maybe we run it back with the 2022 momentum loss structure. Anybody that's been in the group a long time knows that's what one of my favorite short setups. So maybe we get that on altcoins. But TLDR of altcoins is a lot of them are coming for pretty bearish retests right now. So at my quick scan that I just went through before I started recording, I didn't see any of them that actually had undeniably strong structure. The strongest of them all look like what S and X look like, where they're retesting their yearly bands. But that's not necessarily bullish. It needs to pull back and find, you know, support, right? So if, you know, even if this thing is bullish, it probably needs to pull back. So I'll digress from the altcoins. TLDRs, they all look like ass, though. Nothing has changed. They've only gotten worse over the past month and a half. Next thing to cover is going to be volatility. So obviously volatility is here. There's definitely nothing negative I could say about what the volatility looks like in crypto. So we're loving that. As long as the volatility stays high, I can continue to lean into intraday. If volatility dies off a little bit more, I'm going to have to change to scalping a little bit more. But I would much prefer to lean into intraday. So volatility is definitely here. Streams this week. Last thing is just going to be around premium, or around content. So doing the outlook today. This week, we should have some pattern videos, which are going to be pretty informal. I wanted to get these out last week, but I just fell behind on things. And then these are going to be the two major videos that I'm working on. So I'm going to be doing an open interest review where I go back and talk about open interest in a more nuanced way. My last, open interest video I did is pretty old now. So I need to come in and make a new open interest video where I talk about some of the details and some of the nuance behind it a little bit more. So we're going to have hopefully 3 different pattern videos coming out, which will be pretty informal and quick, and then 2 more serious videos. Worst case scenario, I only get maybe like 3 out of 5 of these done this week. Unfortunately, I only have so much time in the day, but it is my goal to get all these done this week, but we'll see. From there, I do have a lot of other things to go over. Lear suggested this pretty recently. If I was going to do a video on at any time you want to show your trades in the group or on Twitter or anything, you should always be taking profit before you do that, partial profit. Anytime that you share a trade without locking in profit, it's going to instantly round trip on you. Anytime that you share a trade and you lock in a little profit before you share the trade, it keeps going in your favor. It's literally just like, it's just the way the market is. Like, don't ask questions, honestly. Just go with it. So yeah, you can read through all the content here. A lot of this I've already gone over. This is something that also got brought up, is actually doing a video on how to do end of month reviews. I'll be trying to do that, the open interest update, the setup review, yada yada. We got a bunch of stuff coming. Is the TLDR of all that. So I'm definitely going to try to continue pace with the content that I'm putting out. So trying to put like 3 to 4 market outlooks out a week, and then, maybe like 3 educational videos a week. So call it like, 6 or 7 videos a week, ideally, is the pace I'm going for. And that's not including streams. So realistically, if you include streams and shit, even the YouTube videos that I'm starting to do and stuff, I'm going to be putting out like 10 plus videos a week is the plan. So, stay safe out there, everybody. I think I was pretty clear with what my plans are. So hopefully at least something works out this week. Cheers, everyone.